Hi, this is János, and I'm still in a construction zone. So that's why we have this back to the cell phone video for now. Uh, and uh, and I'm doing this video because Christopher Ward shared an amazing comment, and I would like to share it with you and share my thoughts about it on it because he really his comment was about on a video about measurements and people's attitude towards measurements, but excuse me, he he really described the entirety of the audiophile approach or the problems that we are facing when looking for equipment and the challenges that we face and about our pursuit, how we look about that. So I'm going to read out his comment, and then we are going to get into it. And here it comes. I'm reading it from the computer screen. The problem is that Amir can't correlate sound quality with measurements reliably, which seems to be his expectation of good sound. Now I am stopping here because his comment is not about dissing Amir or anything. You will realize what's going on. Amir has a channel, Audio Science Review, and he looks at measurements. And this is not a reflection on Amir, but following Amir and seeing what he is observing. So it's kind of a Christopher's summary of what he has seen on Amir's channel. Now, I can listen to a lot of things, and when here something is listenable, and when something is technically better and more listenable. We get outliers that perform stunningly. The reviewer will have heard a lot of equipment that sounded great, but recognizably different. After that, he will choose what he prefers. Expensive products contain fewer compromises and tend to be capable of delivering more. The difference often comes from the balance of compromises that you contain in your design. There are strange obsessions that affect audiophiles, and when they chase them down, lessons are learned that inform them what makes a system work. This is just absolutely the essence of an audiophile's journey to finding stuff and what challenges we have. So basically, we are trying to find out some pointers how to find stuff that sound good, and of course, especially people who are like me, like scientifically minded people, one of your first ideas is just to look at the measurements, and if it measures better, it must sound better. But the problem is that when you go into it, you will find that the two don't correlate, and there's no anti-correlation either. So if it measures good, it doesn't mean that it will sound bad. It's just that if you get a specific unit with some specific measurements, then it can go either way. You put it in your room, in your system, and it can either make a positive difference or a negative difference. Any measurement alone will not qualify a certain component that it will improve the sound quality in your system, or will it be something that you will find that oh, now something changed towards the worse, so I want a different deck now or a different cable or whatnot, because something that was there that made me enjoy my music is not there anymore. And uh, and and that's why measurement by itself, it is a fact. When a unit has like lower THD or lower whatever measurement, you can pick any measurement that we measure, then you can consistently measure that within certain conditions. And as you know, I have made now dozens and dozens and dozens of, probably like 100 plus videos on measurements, and how what I have found they certain measurements correlate with what kind of effects that they will have on the sound, because the measurement in itself is not a self-fulfilling prophecy. That when a unit has a better sound than that is perceived as a clear step up by most people, then there is something happening in the unit that also shows up as an improvement in that specific measurement. But there are also changes in other parameters. Many of them aren't even measured because we are not aware of that. And but people assume that when a sound is getting better and a certain measurement is improving, that change in the sound quality is due to that measurement. And then what they continue is that they will continue to modify the design of the amplifier to push that measurement to even lower, and they expect that the sound will get better. And sometimes it does, but sometimes it doesn't, because the measurement is not by itself, so it's not present in an amplifier or deck or whatever, like salt, like adding salt to food. And like if you taste some food and it's salty, it's inedible, it's yuck, and you cut down the salt content to, let's say, like 0.1%, and wow, now this is really good. And then now if I cut it even lower, then it doesn't taste anything, there's no salt in it. This is not even healthy for you. If there's no sodium, when you go about your day, when you sweat, we sweat out sodium, so there must be some sodium in your food. So I know today we have this trend that we want to minimize the sodium intake in the food, but if you avoid sodium altogether, then you are creating a plethora of health problems for you. So that's not good either. And the same seems to be happening with measurements, but that's just how the measurement shows up, as if there's like less and less salt in the food, and then you'll get a sweet zone when the food tastes right. And if you add even more salt or less salt, it's not good anymore in either direction. And but that's not how that specific measurement is generated in an amplifier or a deck. That there's some certain component, this, let's say, like THD, and we can dial it up or dial it down without affecting anything else. No. The way it can be altered is by altering a gazillion other parameters in the system, and those gazillion other parameters will also impact. So it's not just like adjusting the salt content, but also kind of like boiling down your soup as well, and changing the broth, and all things happening together. So that's why it's really up to the designer of the component to know how the circuitry works, what's happening on the inside, because a certain specific measurement is just a parameter. It's like measuring your blood pressure level. And if the blood pressure, of course, if you have like a 200 systolic pressure, that's an indication that and that's your normal resting blood pressure, then you have a very severe heart problem there. And when we move it down, if you're a healthy adult, it's moved down to 120, then that you will be very happy and very comfortable like that. But making it like a top priority, like to bring down my resting blood pressure level to 0, just because like we know 200 is bad, 180 is also bad. If you are like 300, then probably you will die in seconds. But that doesn't mean that you have to drop it down to 0. You'll be just as dead as with a 300 systolic blood pressure. So and and also the blood pressure itself is just a symptom. It's not a cause. It's just yeah, basically it's a symptom of many factors that are present in your body. But maybe I won't even go deeper into the analogy, because then people will think, okay, but then just think about the specific analogy and how it can apply more or less. But that's totally futile. It's just a simple way to give you an idea, and you can play around with it. But don't think too much into these analogies, because all they do is that within a certain set of criteria they apply or not. And that's same for measurements as well. And what Christopher also shared with us, which is really critical, is that there are strange obsessions that affect audiophiles. And we are chasing those down, learn our lessons, and these lessons often take years or even decade or longer. And what are these strange obsessions? So some of them, for example, that you have in your mind that, okay, I'm a hardcore digital guy and only digital can work, nothing else. Or maybe I'm just only streaming, or only CDs, or only whatever, or only USB stick, or whatnot. Pick any obsession, and when you make it your guiding star, then you are just limiting yourself and preparing yourself to experience some big lessons. And ultimately, these lessons will be valuable for you. In some cases, you will find that okay, that was the right call for me. Yeah, it was a big lesson, but I'm happy that I learned it. But ultimately, what I have taken from these lessons is that when we are beginner audiophiles, we need much more humility than what we project, and that often when you read posts online and when you watch videos, when people come with these big faces, or when you post about something and you get like categorical comments on it, that dude, you are then that just shows that those guys have not learned their lessons yet. They are at the beginning of their lesson learning phase. And there's nothing wrong with that, but as a way seeker, as an audiophile, you need to know that when you run into these scenarios, who is right? No one is right. Everyone has their own views, their own experiences, and always those guys who have the bigger face, they have the bigger ego problems. That's what you can take away from the situation. And the other big lesson is what Christopher shared with us, that when we chase any of these things, like whether digital is better, or streaming versus CD versus vinyl, or single-ended push-pull tubes, or solid state battery, or AC power, all of these are just lessons, and the only way to learn them is to learn them. And so I think that's it. And I have one more thing to share at the end, and this is something really important, and I always wanted to talk about it, but I did not. And that's about trolling on internet. And I have noticed that I am super blessed with you, with all of you on my channel, because I'm getting absolutely fantastic comments, really engaged comments, fantastic sharing of experiences, information, and it's really fantastic. But occasionally I got some really nasty stuff, and every single time those nasty answers, those nasty comments come for videos on measurements. What's wrong here? So people who are claiming that they have a scientific approach, but they are just using that as an excuse for bullying, trolling, gaslighting, personal insults. This is not Fight Club. And I've been working in academia for more than 2 decades, 2.5, actually counting my undergraduate years, 3 decades in academia. And I can tell you guys that I had 0 interactions during those 3 decades with my colleagues that went at the pointing personal Fight Club level. If you dare even to uphold the illusion of you posting a comment with scientific interest, if you do name calling and personal insults, that is the foundation, that it has nothing to do with science, just you are a cave troll. And until now I have been like super duper tolerant with even with cave trolls, and then trying to be encouraging to them. But after 3 years of trying, I have to admit that I'm not a psychotherapist, and I'm not here to run a fight club or a pub brawl. So if that's something that some of those people who just come by here accidentally with that kind of mentality, this is not the channel, this is not the venue for that. And in the future, if I get like any personal insults insulting any of my subscribers or myself, I won't even reply to that comment anymore. I will report that comment to YouTube and let YouTube deal with the commenter. And I think if someone wants to fight, then that's the fair fight that they need, and that's what that will help them on the long run. So yep, this is an absolutely troll-free zone. So those of you who have found a home here and formed a community, yes, our community will stay strong and friendly, and only aimed at making our audio journey an experience that we learn from, that is beneficial, and that helps us be more civil and more human and more civilized, and also be more scientific, because the first tenet of science is that you look at the facts and you don't take it personally when you don't like the facts. So thank you, Christopher, for your amazing comment, and thank you, team, for joining in and dealing with my construction zone here. And have a wonderful day. And if you want to support me with a cup of coffee, electronic coffee, that would be really truly appreciated and really helpful for me to run and maintain this channel. So have an amazing day. Bye bye.